Greetings, schools, and welcome back to another deep dive into horror anthology television. Tonight, we have another iconic episode of Are You Afraid of the Dark to cover, and I'm excited to talk about the tale of the Midnight Madness. This episode is hard to beat as far as this series goes. I'm still haunted by it to this day. I was so shaken to my core as a child when I first saw this one, so let's get right into it. We open at a beautiful old movie theater, and sadly it's empty, and this place made $6 on a good night. The theater is losing money and everything is busted around here. Pete and his coworker Katie are working one of their last shifts together before things change forever. Their manager is very fed up and stressed out. Katie is applying to a busier theater across the street, while Pete is scared that the Rialto will close any day. He does what he can to save the old theater he loves so much. Pete campaigns in his off time to keep the place open. In addition, he's doing his best to get the site listed as a historical landmark. A scary older man is banging at the door one day, and the theater isn't even open yet, but the man doesn't seem to care. The weirdo's name is Dr. Vink. He welcomes himself in and heads to check out the theater. He adores the old place. Dr. Vink is a filmmaker, and he's here to revive the theater for free. Their manager isn't happy about this nutball doing his little presentation, but he has no other option, does he? The filmmaker goes on. He's happy, and he has a neat horror film, a vampire flick, where the vampire wins. The manager is skeptical of the man, so the deal is they've got to show Dr. Vink's vampire film, and once the audience flock to the old theater, they must allow one night for Dr. Vink to show his other films. Dr. Vink doesn't want any money at all. He just wants one night per week for his other films. Sounds excellent if the vampire film can bring in the audiences that can help support the theater. So they make the deal, and before anyone can question the old man, he's gone in the blink of an eye. Something tells me this guy's supernatural. The kids ask the manager if they should show the film, and the manager laughs at them pretty much and tells them to forget it and throw it out. They put it up in the projection booth and forget about it for a while. The bills continue to pile up and ticket sales continue going down. One night at the theater, the kids learn they only have 2 weeks left before the place is shut down forever. That's horrible news for the crew, particularly Pete, since he's been working so hard to revitalize the place. Luckily, magic is on our side, friends. In the Western film, the audience is watching malfunctions badly and becomes nothing but a big unusable mess. So Pete has the brilliant idea to play the old film the strange Dr. Vink gave them. Katie talks the crowd into staying for a special surprise showing, and if they aren't satisfied after that, they can still get a full refund after the show. Everyone in the crowd sits down, and this one line of dialogue sent me.
This better be good, young lady. My time is valuable.
Enjoy the show.
Oh god, that's so good. And look at her face when she sees Nosferatu. She winds up loving the show, and as a matter of fact, everyone in the crowd loved it, and no one asked for a refund. This is great, so everyone's happy, and we flash back to our narrators sitting around the campfire. We learn that the theater got so busy that the owners decided not to sell the place. The theater is packed, all because of Dr. Vink's unique cut of Nosferatu. The crowd can't get enough of it. Pete and Katie are both happy that their employers are finally thriving. The two of them might even go out on a date, but were interrupted by the reappearance of the strange but wildly helpful Dr. Vink. So the doc is back now, and the theater's fate is assured. The place is back afloat financially. He's back to claim his one night per week where he gets to show his films. Due to greed and being a know-it-all, the manager refuses his one request. He isn't asking for that much for someone who seemed to single-handedly revitalize the dying theater company. But the manager can't see that. And who's to say Dr. Vink's other films aren't absolute hits, just like the weirdo film of Nosferatu? right? Well, the manager is getting access to big budget A-list films now. All the manager is willing to do for the man is cut him a fat check. He doesn't want to show his weird old films now that his theater is thriving. The big guy, Dr. V, doesn't take his news well. In fact, he maniacally cackles and exits, mysteriously. Not a great sign for our theater staff. Pete loves the old movies so much, especially the Nosferatu film. He watches it every chance he can to learn what makes the film so well received by audiences. He sees something freaky that night. Nosferatu has exited the movie screen, but he might have been sleeping, so he goes to talk to his love interest coworker. These two are very sweet. They're about to have their first kiss when they hear the screams of their boss. They check him out in the office, and he has vampire bites on his neck. Oh no. The two exit the room and they spot old Nosferatu, the last ghoul anyone wants to encounter, let's be honest. So he's always lurking around corners and in the dark, and the kids are running mad. They're stopped when they see old Nosy again. They decide to barricade themselves inside a room, and creepy, pasty fingers creep towards them. Ew! That's enough to creep me out. So they figure the movie reel is the link. It's what's being used by Dr. Vink to extract his revenge against the theater. So they have a plan to get the vampire back into the movie. They're going to get Dr. Vink's reel going in the projector again, and when it's ready, Katie calls down to let him know. Sadly for our girl, this alerts the vampire of her location, and old Nosy goes up to the projector room to say hello, maybe nibble on her neck and drink every pint of her blood in her body. She narrowly avoids this fate when she flips the switch to the projector and Nosferatu's film starts playing. Pete gets the fun but super sketchy idea to go inside of the film, and it works. He's in there only a second, and then the vampire makes his way into the black and white movie. Will Pete get his blood sucked? Luckily for Pete, he's watched this film plenty of times by now, so he knows exactly how to handle the old horrid vamp. All he's got to do is open one of the blinds, and voila, the horrible monster dissolves into a bunch of smoke and ash. Pete's so happy to have defeated the spooky menace. He walks out of the movie screen and is reunited with his love and the manager, who is back. Nice. So the strange Dr. Vink is in the crowd, and he's happy as can be with the turnout. He lets the staff know that he has bought the deed to the movie theater. He is the new owner, and he plans to show all of his spooky movies at his very whim. So this leaves us just a bit scared for Pete and Katie, but I think they're going to do just fine, hopefully. I'm gonna give this classic episode a near perfect 9.8 out of 10 for the series, Are You Afraid of the Dark? This one is so memorable and fun, and like nothing else I ever watched as a kid. This one haunted me for years, and I'm so glad I found a decent copy of this episode to show you guys. This one might unlock a whirlwind of memories because it did for me, and I didn't realize that Dr. Vink was a recurring role and pops up throughout the series, so I look forward to seeing him in a couple other episodes. The setting and stories stick out to me in this one above so many others. They picked a perfectly pretty theater to shoot this at, too. I'd love to go to one as cool as this one day for a fun, spooky movie trip. The characters are really well played by the actors. I'm often impressed by the talent on these kids. I would never be able to pull off child acting, that's for sure. The manager was perfectly snippy and even indirectly funny at times. I liked that guy a lot, too. And I can't forget the woman who went to see a movie and wound up stealing the entire show. I don't know why. I adore her so much. She's uncredited, or I'd give you more context about her because she's hilarious. I want to know what you thought of this one, so be sure to leave me a comment below, and if you aren't yet subscribed to the channel, please go ahead and slam that subscribe button and ring the little bell for notifications so you never miss a spooky, creepy upload again. Thank you, patrons, for making today's video possible. For just a handful of smackaroos, you can keep this channel running strong. Just go on over to Patreon. The link's in the description. But that's all I have for you, ghouls. Be well and stay spooky.